Okay, well, since this question has come up a number of times now, I figured it was probably about time for me to go ahead and shoot a video. These are all of the parts that are involved in the Kimball E and F transmission. Not the drivetrain, just the transmission. And I'm going to show you how the gears go back together. Some might call it a little counterintuitive, but here's how it goes. The new white gear goes on this spindle. The medium-sized metal gear goes on this spindle. The smaller white gear goes on this spindle, and you can see, take a moment for this to refocus, goes right there. And this is the one that confuses people sometimes. This one right here, there's a spacer which goes right there, and then a thin washer which goes right there, and then those go right there. And so you end up with everything just the way it's supposed to be. Now the motor obviously looks like it could go either this way or this way, because of course the spacing on these is equal, and there is no guide around here which tells you how that would mate up with the underside here. There's no markings or no divot or anything like that, so it tell you which way it's supposed to be. However, having examined numerous pictures of these transmissions before they were taken apart, and also on the service manual, the wires, the red and black wires, always come out this side of the motor, not this side of the motor. So it always has to be with the wires coming out this side. And if you line up the screw holes, and you just put that in there. And then you can put that screw in. I'll get this. Okay, I got the wrong one in there. Put the wrong screw in there. Now, some of you may have noticed a mistake already, but bear with me, okay? I'm thinking ahead. Sometimes it's a problem when you think ahead. Okay, and now that screws in. Then you say, wait a second, I can't put that screw in. That's right, because the way that this has to be, even though the gears are in the right place, I got all the gears in the right place, I didn't do the assembly process in the right order. And we'll take this back apart. Now, these two gears right here, they can stay where they're at. But the motor has to be put back in. And the screws have to be started and notice that I said started. Okay, because once the screws are started, then you have to put this in, and you can see it's still not going in because I've actually got the screws too tight. So I need to loosen that up a little bit so that this will rock. See, now I can put that in. I got the screws aligned, and I can go ahead and tighten that one up. And tighten that one up, and then I can go ahead and put in the last one, and now we got the transmission all back together. So now you know the correct order. Of course, then the cap goes on. And everything's all done. Okay. People have asked me about the lubrication. I suggest a very small amount of white lithium grease around here. And around here. And I recommend Dow Corning 111. You can see I take a tiny little bit of this. You can see a tiny little bit of that. Put that right there. And I actually should have done this beforehand. And a tiny bit. Oops, that's too much. Tiny bit right there. Right here. And then, of course, like I said, the white lithium grease there and there. You could also use the Dow Corning. I mean, you could also use the Dow Corning right here, and on the other gear. And then if you want, I imagine you could put some right here too, although really not necessary. This transmission turns over at such a slow speed. Transmission turns over at such a slow speed that there's almost no friction whatsoever inside here. So I guess you could put some right here too if you wanted to. And that's it.